All right. Hi, and welcome to The Mind of a Skeptical Leftist, the podcast that talks to various people to promote progressivism, leftist politics, and critical thinking. I'm joined by Pheonix.
Yeah.
Do you have any other AKAs or anything that people will know you by?
Okay. Yes, I am Pheonix Lee, the operator of the YouTube channel, the sporadically updated YouTube channel, Phoenix Rising 87, formerly Electric Mayhem 87. Um, I'm also a writer for Medium. I've got a little Medium account. I'm currently working on a couple of new pieces for that. Um, well, some pieces for my YouTube channel. I
Okay.
am I am vegan. I'm an anarchist. I'm a feminist. Um, Yep, and all the above.
Some of that is exactly why I wanted to talk to you. um, I guess a good place to start would be with your anarchism. Uh,
Okay.
what brand of anarchism do you follow, and how did you reach that point?
Okay. Well, I kind of fall between libertarian socialist and anarcho-communist.
Okay.
I'm also a bit of a queer anarchist and an anarcho-feminist. Um, got all those kind of leanings. Um, I think I reached that point. I started to reach that point after the 2008 election. It was my first election voting for a president. I proudly cast my vote for the first black man who would become president, and then was disillusioned after I learned he was endorsing the torture of whistleblowers and drone bombing civilians in the Middle East. Yeah, it was kind of over that. I kind of started to realize that a lot of my political views are much further to the left of the Democratic Party in America. I started looking at other kinds of views. Like I started reading about socialism and anarchism and actually learning what anarchists have to say.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I've always been passionate about helping others, about people supporting each other. I started to see through all things. It's my interest in true crime documentaries that kind of helped me to realize what a lot of people need is community care. Because you get cases like Andrea Yates, who was really seriously mentally ill and killed her kids because she wanted to send them to heaven. She was not
Right.
clearly. So like with issues like that, community care would have saved those kids. Like she could have gotten help she needed. Maybe she could have gotten access to child care to take care of her kids while she was getting help. Stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's yeah, I mean, a lot of people disagree with me, but I tend to think that a lot of crimes, even murders and like extreme crimes, could be prevented if people had the right resources in their life and the right access to help when they needed it.
Absolutely.
So, how does your anarchism intersect with your veganism?
Well, I'm an anarchist. I don't believe in unjustified hierarchies. I What kind of influenced my activism as it exists today is the book Afroism by Afko and her sister Sil, which talks about intersections between racism and speciesism, how
Okay.
black and brown people, like throughout history, have been oppression against them has been justified by saying that we were animal-like and thus worth less. And I think there's something wrong with the mindset that non-human animals are worth less than human animals. It's like because so I kind of came to the mindset that racism equals speciesism equals ableism, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because injustice against the disabled is it's still perpetuated because of that mindset. Like even by organizations like Autism Speaks. So I see veganism as a key part of anarchism, against unjustified hierarchies, and like I'm also a big environmentalist, and there's a lot of environmental damage caused by animal agribusinesses today. And I think, and contrary to what other vegans might think, I think that capitalism is anti-vegan because it's anti-human rights, it's anti-animal rights, it's anti-earth rights. And a lot of the harmful effects done by the meat industry are perpetuated specifically because capitalism enables people to kill animals at an exorbitant rate, which does cause more water pollution, more air pollution, more pollution of poor neighborhoods, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Oh, Loki's joined the chat.
Hey. Always love it when pets join.
Yeah, he's sweetie. Yeah, it's kind of an extension of that. And
okay.
I think my anarchism came before I was totally vegan. I started becoming an anarchist in like 2009, and 2010 is when I was finally vegan.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm not a vegan. Me and my partner, we do substitute, like we use meat substitutes as often as we can, or more often, an increasing amount all the time. It's I think that like the thing that people seem to forget is that regardless of what our opinions are about animals, they can suffer. And and it's not good to inflict suffering on other creatures.
People who say animals can't feel pain have never stepped on their dog's paw, heard that sad little yelp, and been so apologetic about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or when you I've had the similar thing with a cat where you accidentally step on your cat's tail or something, or their paw, and they're like, rare. They definitely feel a lot of pain. And I don't see how like a cow or a pig is all that different from, and coming from a materialist worldview, like a non-spiritual worldview, I view humans as a product of evolution. This is just like everybody else. So just like every other creature. So I don't see how we draw these distinctions without just being arbitrary about it.
That's something I've noticed in common between a lot of like vegan hating meat eaters and a lot of a certain contingency of like anti kind of misanthropic vegans is this mindset that humans are so removed from animals that either we're on a higher level or we're beneath animals. It's like I actually made this point in my first video response to Gary Yourofsky, his Palestinian blacks and other hypocrites video. One of the things he said in that video was Palestine and the Americas don't belong to the natives or the Palestinians. They belong to the animals. And I'm just kind of like, human beings are animals. We are the product of billions of years of evolution.
We're in the mix there somewhere.
Yeah.
Although
that was kind of the least offensive thing he said in that video, but I digress.
Yeah, that's how many videos have you done? Have you been going for a long time?
You know what? My YouTube channel as it exists today, I regret I made a lot of really kind of not so great videos when I was younger, but my videos as they exist today started in 2014, when I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah, the first video that's been on my channel since it's in the way as it is now was a video asking hypothetically, is veganism a diet? My conclusion was no, it's not a diet. It's about animals, and you could eat basically.
Right.
Veganism isn't about losing weight. You could basically live on Sour Patch Kids and be vegan. If I wouldn't feel like crap if I did that, I could do that.
Yeah, it's not like you say, it's not a diet. You're not
Right.
cutting animal product out because and I mean people do cut out animal products to some extent from diets, but that doesn't mean the two are equal, I guess.
That's yeah, that's right. Um, that was a big thing I had noticed in a lot of like vegan online discourse, and also in like books you would read. Like really popular book when I was first starting out was Skinny Bitch. Um, there were like it was like a series of books came out. There was Skinny Bitch. There was a cookbook by the same authors. Um, just perpetuating this idea that to be vegan is to be super skinny, be super healthy, quote unquote. But like when I look back, I realized that book has a lot of really kind of bad information. Like at some point, they advise that you don't take painkillers because like your body's trying to tell you something. Specifically, one thing they said was that if people with wombs have really bad menstrual cramps, um, it's that's your body preparing you for being pregnant and having a baby. Like so basically, the mindset was kind of quote unquote man up. And
Oh,
I'm just kind of
jeez.
that's just so wrong. What if your menstrual cramps are so bad like that you can't function during the day, that you can't work, that you can't move, that you can't do anything except lie on your bed and moan. Okay, you're going to advise people like that to not take to not ibuprofen if it helps them. Uh,
Right.
yeah, but it also has a lot of pseudoscience about GMOs and organic foods and stuff. So it's not exactly very class conscious either.
Right, right. Yeah, that's pretty rampant in fitness and health circles is a
Yeah.
lot of that pseudoscience.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why you see a lot of them like they're mixing with like QAnon style or neo-Nazi conspiracies because they believe in
Yeah,
that purity of nature, right? Like,
yeah. There were some YouTubers who preached that. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Cory McCarthy and his wife Tara.
mm, maybe.
Yeah, they basically preach like alt right rhetoric,
Oh,
um,
okay, yeah.
and kind of treat veganism as a way of maintaining their white purity or some shit like that.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah, geez. That's
yeah,
rough.
it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Um, yeah, geez, wow. You also run a like a mutual aid Facebook page, right?
yes, I do. Community care slash mutual aid. I started that specifically because I realized, like, even a lot of leftist online circles, even on like RedTube and stuff, there's not really a lot of focus on mutual aid, which is like a key component of hard left ideology. Uh,
Yeah.
and like a broke and disabled person who can't work most regular jobs, don't have a lot of money to offer, but I can offer a space to boost people's needs so more eyes get on them so people who have money to donate can.
Right, right.
Know like where it's most needed. I boosted, and I don't just boost people with like fundraisers. I've also boosted like general mutual aid stuff, like a post a post advising people, like especially during the winter, to if a homeless person asks you for money, just give them money. Don't give them food because like money can mean can mean that they can go and just stay at McDonald's and there's a soda for a while so they get out of the cold. Excuse me. And
Yeah.
I also shared someone posted a really useful list of tips for things to donate to food pantries,
Okay.
like donating cake mix and frosting can help like a poor kid have a birthday cake, or and like mac and cheese, like boxed mac and cheese is a big thing people donate, but it doesn't really help if they don't have milk.
Right. Yeah.
So
how do people? How do you find the people who need help? Do people send them to you, or is this
occasionally people will send stuff to me since I posted in one of my local mutual aid groups, one that's centered on people living in the DMV, the DC, Washington, Virginia, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Like I posted saying if you'd like to me boosted on I can boost it on my public mutual aid page, and so people started reaching out. But mostly I find them. I don't have a Twitter account anymore, but I still lurk around Twitter, especially and kind of see people's fundraisers, people trans people who are trying to pay for transitions, or to escape their transphobic households, and things like people trying to stay in school, people trying to even keep the lights on, put food on the table, and nowadays a lot of people who've lost their jobs because of COVID and still need to pay the bills.
All right, so we had some technical difficulties, but we are back, and we were talking about mutual aid. We talked a little bit about anarchism and veganism, and we were talking about mutual aid. And one of the things you said was that a lot of people are getting help with their bills. And it seems like to me that a lot of people need help with their bills right now because there's been still so many people unemployed.
Yeah. It's like, the government isn't providing enough help, and being an anarchist, I kind of anticipated that. But people need help regardless. And anything I can do to help them, just sharing their stories, sharing their crowdfund, sharing their PayPal links, and Venmo links, that kind of stuff. Then I count that as a win.
For sure. So you said that sometimes people send them to you. Sometimes you get them off Twitter. Is the page growing quite a bit?
It is.
It seems like to me that would be the kind of thing that a lot of people should be getting on board with. Like we should all be flooding, these people who need help with even $1 or $2. If enough of us help, then we can actually be doing some good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it kind of hurts my heart to see that so many online leftists seem unwilling to do that. Even bigger leftist channels have the means to share someone's crowdfund or share someone's story, and get tons of eyes on it, but that's not happening. It doesn't get the same momentum as making a live stream complaining about how Caitlin Bennett or Ben Shapiro are complete shitheads, which
is true.
Yes, that's true. But my mindset is, dude, who cares about Ben Shapiro? We're in the middle of a global pandemic. People need help. They need to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. I don't care about Ben Shapiro. Get out. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think, when you think about how many people who need help, even before the pandemic, there were so many people who needed help because the system is so fucked up.
Yeah. I've been fighting for SSI, SSDI since 2019. It's been almost 2 years, and I'm just now getting a hearing at least. So hopefully that will go well. But it's been hard. It's been hard, and I've been trying to find jobs I can actually do, but it's tough, especially now with COVID.
Yeah. Even more people fighting for even fewer jobs.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought of when I was reaching out to you was you made a post about white podcasters and white YouTubers criticizing politicians of color and how it made you uncomfortable, or that you didn't think that it was always in good faith, perhaps. I don't know. I wonder if you want to expand on that a little bit.
It's
I
it's less
find
about
myself agreeing with you. So,
it's less about politics, and more like about like political pundits, like Candace Owens, for example, Brianna Joy Gray, even YouTubers like Angie Speaks. Like, um, it comes off as it often comes off as extremely problematic. I kind of have a problem with a lot of with like all these boisterous white cishet males basically on YouTube who were talking about how Candace Owens is like a dumbass or something. That like that makes me uncomfortable. It's like there are plenty of black leftists who will call out Candace Owens who have
right.
um it. I don't know. It just especially such people who yeah a certain debate pro leftist who I will not name because he wants to go there. Um, Brianna Joy Gray made a comment about I can't remember what it was about, but it was about how she didn't want to vote for Biden. Um, this guy retweeted her tweet and with some cringy use of AAVE going like yes queen. Basically, he split the vote and get Trump elected despite despite the white liberals, like that kind of nonsense.
Okay. Yeah. I.
And I
Hmm.
think that I think the conclusion like you wouldn't have said that if it was a white woman. You might be a little you might be a little racist.
Right. Yeah.
I've
It's
been saying of this person like this person hates black femmes
okay.
because well also this person is made some pretty vicious attacks on me, which
Oh, is that right?
yeah called me quote unquote fucking crazy for disagreeing with him. But because apparently
That's always a good take.
that's what they say about black non-men who criticize us mildly.
Right. Yeah. A mild disagreement is always. It's always good to just call people names when they disagree with you.
Yeah, I think it bothered me in particular because that's a common refrain in when people are annoyed with like when people see a black woman or a black femme who gets annoyed, gets mildly irritated, is like even gets a little angry, like she or they are dismissed as crazy,
Hmm.
as sassy, as having an attitude.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely very playing into a stereotype
Yeah,
that like not that the black woman or femme person is playing into a stereotype, but the person who believes they are playing into a stereotype is being problematic, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's I I saw that post after I had just discussed with a friend. We're both white
mm,
dudes, and we were discussing Obama and how some of the language he had recently used was kind of racist, actually, about
yeah,
black
yeah,
people.
yeah. It's the kind of stuff I hear like sometimes within my family circles, very respectability politics y, which
Right.
I don't doubt that a lot of respectability politics comes from at least a well intended place, but it's
Mhm.
still damaging regardless.
Yeah. And even in the discussion with my friend, I was a little uncomfortable because I'm like, we're discussing racism. We're two white guys calling a black man racist. It's not exactly, it's not exactly my spot to do that, right?
Yeah, kinda.
Kind of. Yeah. It felt weird. I can say that at least.
Yeah,
But
I have kind of okay. My first response to this person I'm not going to name, one of their criticisms of like quote unquote woke schools, which is a term I'm sick of, was was that in their mind, they and other debate bros are more effective because like they're not extra special nice to like racists. They'll like yell at them about like how redlining is still a thing, how racism still exists on a systemic level. And my response is just, yeah, I'm pretty sure black leftists have been talking about that for years, but Lord forbid we get the credit right.
Right, right.
Way to go, you bastion of
Good work.
It just came up as extremely white saviory.
Yeah.
If that's a word, it's just like, we do not need you to speak over us. We need you to shut up and listen to us for a change.
Yeah, it's an important skill. Like, and I mean, here I am. I'm a white leftist with a podcast and YouTube channel, but I think more of us should shut up. Actually, like, there's lots of good work being done by non-white people, and yeah, and it always seems, like you say, like mainstream leftism always seems to center white guys.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find myself guilty of this, actually. When I'm reaching out for guests, like I often I reach for the first name that like comes to my mind, right? Like it's this person that I've spoken to before who's also a white guy, or I look back in my guest list so far, and too many of them are probably, too many are white guys.
Yeah. Especially, I think that's why a lot of black leftists tend to have our own little circles. Excuse me.
That's all right. We noticed a similar thing with the atheist community back when I was a big part of that. Was that people of color joined? They even women as well went into other groups, queer people, LGBTQ folks. They all went into a separate group because mainstream atheism wasn't supportive.
Yeah, I used to like watch a lot of like atheist community videos, but then I started to feel unsafe on them as like being black, being femme passing, being queer. I felt kind of unsafe and kind of alienated. Um, this was just when like they were just starting to get into like the anti-feminist and like anti-SJW nonsense.
Right.
And I just kind of felt unwelcome. I felt like, well, like use me for a living.
Right. And actually wanted, yeah, it's a little ridiculous, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of felt alienated for how they like talked about religion and the church as just being inherently evil, because while I do agree while I do see that there can be like abuses of power within churches, the black church historically has been a safe safe space for the black community. It was a place where people could relax, a place where people could congregate, make friends, have community events, and that's a big part of why like white supremacists have attacked those, like historically and even recently with Dylan Roof, because they know it's a place where black people feel safe, and they don't want black people to feel safe anywhere. So even though I personally am not religious, I am a secular witch. My parents are annoyed by that, but I do understand the importance that the church has held in the black community.
What does it mean to be a witch?
You see, the thing is, I don't believe in gods. I don't use gods in my craft. But I do believe in things like energy. I believe people together can create energy and like influence each other, influence their surroundings. So like, even though I don't use any gods in my practice, my center is like the community and people I care about. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't do a lot because I live with my family who is very Christian and very opposed to that. But like when I kind of get out of the house, I do more. I like. Um, yeah, I've thought of
Mm,
making a video being an atheist witch, and another topic like pop culture witchcraft, which is kind of cool.
right.
One with the African diaspora. Yeah, just a lot of different topics. I always have a lot of ideas, but like don't always have the energy to put them into a video or put them into a piece of writing.
It takes a lot of work to write things down. Like I started doing this
Yeah.
channel with the idea to like type out scripts and about various topics and read them and, have a guest who could react to them kind of, in the style of Behind the Bastards. But it's just so much work. Who has the time for that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't always have the energy because of either just being tired or being in pain, like my back or my legs or both. Like I went to the store this morning to get paratransit, and even though I took paratransit, I had to stand up because the bench outside was wet because of the snow we just had, which is murder on my back, even with my cane.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of leftists either don't feel comfortable about or aren't equipped to talk about is disability justice.
Right. Yeah. It seems to get overlooked in a lot of ways, eh?
Yeah, even to the degree that a lot of leftists like, express a lot of like really ableist stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. Almost,
Yeah, like yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
like saying Caitlin Bennett thinks this way because she's developmentally disabled, and I'm just like, excuse you, because I have autism.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm not
I,
diagnosed, but my mom told me I pretty much have it. She's a teacher, so she would know.
there's,
Um,
I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe it's still a remnant from the past where people with various, we might call them just disabilities or people with disabilities, or we might even just say a person with autism or a person with this condition or whatever. I don't know what the right language is, but there was a time when all those people were lumped into one group.
Yeah. Just FYI, most disabled folks prefer like the identity first label rather than the person first. So like, yeah, I'm an autistic person. I'm a disabled person.
Okay.
I am a cane user, a rollator user. That's a bird.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I appreciate that.
Nope. No trouble at all. Um.
Yeah, it's yeah, like I say, everybody got lumped into one group, and then as we discovered that more and more people have it, it's more and more common that people, are autistic or what have you. Then, we still hold on to this weird idea that they all belong in this group of people that are lesser than. And so we can just ignore them, even though the group is getting bigger and bigger all the time. It's like, you're just dismissing so many people that are valuable.
It's really insensitive. And I see this in different forms within leftist circles, like even like things like criticism of slacktivism, like that's kind of
Right.
inherently ableist because like I used to go to protests like when I was in my 20s. I
Right.
can't do them anymore. I can't walk very much anymore. I can't bring my cane to a protest because it's considered a weapon now.
Oh,
Um,
geez. That's
um,
not helpful at all.
no, so like I don't even feel safe going to protests anymore. So like just staying home, upload like sharing people's mutual aid needs, writing about certain issues like that's how I can do activism now. It's like
Yeah. Um, I had a interview with somebody a while ago, and they said that even like everything that you do, if it's in the same, if it's in the effort to make the world a better place, is activism, even if you don't get credit for it as activism in like activist circles, right? Which I really appreciated. I mean, I am not a person like I'm an extremely privileged person, right? But I'm still taking care of a family. I'm still working 12 to 14 hours a day. So then anything I do on top of that is all I can fit in.
right.
so I felt that was, it's inclusive to a lot of perspectives, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just my privileged take on it, I guess.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so normally when I do this show, I also uh, I get people to do a bit of counter propaganda,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't give you a chance to prepare ahead of time.
Okay.
but is there anything off the top of your head that you think needs to be debunked or needs to be addressed in a way?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
The whole world.
I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of problems like within the online left. There's too much of a focus on trying to de-radicalize people who are in the alt-right pipeline. It's just
Yeah.
like firstly, how do you even ascertain that? And secondly, that is that is significantly less worth your time than helping people who are in marginalized groups right now. People who
Yeah.
need, people who are, like I said, they need mutual aid. They need a community that is safe. They need help and support. Basically, it's like if you spent more time on that's a little more constructive than trying to get right wingers to like you.
And they won't like you anyway. Like,
Yeah.
like I've never met a right winger that can be de-radicalized.
Yeah. A lot of people I'm starting to see, like I've seen this a lot in the suburbs, which is where I grew up. Like
Okay.
people people think, oh, this person was nice to me, so they must be a nice person. It's like, no, that like, welcome to adulthood. Anyone can be nice to you if they think it's in your interest. It doesn't make them good people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a great counter propaganda. Stop trying to de-radicalize the right.
Like
Help people.
like people need help. Don't
Yeah.
go help them. I would like even a dollar will help some of the people on like who are trying to keep a roof over their head, who are trying to get out of a transphobic household, who are trying to get themselves and their children off the street. Like, give $1 to them. Don't just, and for God's sakes, something I really hate is that people like use the term redemption arc when it comes to like getting people to switch sides. Like I noticed that certain people are trying to do that with Calvin Gara, who is this like he's a true scum trans guy. He's done a lot of things. Cops Hate Mo has a really good video about it. Like
Okay.
detailing all of his shenanigans. But like people are obsessed with like giving him a redemption arc. It's just like you can't change people. People change when they want to. It's like and as far as redemption arcs, these are not fictional characters. These are real people with agency who can
Yeah.
who can do internal thinking, who can want to be better, and that's how people change.
Yeah,
Like,
too many people have played in. They believe in that. What is that line from the show that everybody's a life is a story? No, these are people with real agency. They're not being written by somebody.
and even most fictional characters who have redemption arcs earn them because they want them, because they actively work for them and they work to be better.
Right.
It's like, so even that kind of fails.
They aren't just one day convinced that they were wrong and then they continue living their life as though nothing had changed.
Another thing I want to just put out there is no one is owed forgiveness. It's like, if you feel sorry about something you've done and you demonstrate that you're sorry for it and you understand what you did is wrong, that's one thing. But people you've hurt are not obligated to forgive you. Like,
Yeah.
That's something I've
sure.
come to realize, like, in my own life. I don't want to go too much into it, but, like, you don't have to forgive people who've wronged you. If it's, like, bad enough that you don't want them in your life anymore at all, you don't need to have them in your life.
Yeah. I have to agree with that.
I've thought about that a lot with regard to, like, people accepting Shion Head as part of the left and welcoming her into their circles, even though a lot of people really feel unsafe around her because of the things she's done in the past.
Yeah.
Like, including me, like, I don't really want to deal with her. I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of just like, I don't want to deal with her. I don't care if she likes me or not. I don't need nonsense in my life right now. Like, and like, if people feel unsafe around her, you shouldn't chastise them for not wanting to be around her. It's just like the whole mindset of can't she change? My thought is, why is she owed that? She's not inherently owed that.
Yeah, like, I'm sure she's capable of change, but why does that fall on, me or you? Like, why does that burden end up on?
It's like, you can be sorry and you can change, but people are still have a right to be done with you and not want to deal with you at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like, you can go meet some new friends who don't know about your shitty past.
Yeah, sure. Or, like you say, you can earn it. You can show people over time and give them the space to, see you change and see you earn that redemption.
Exactly.
But so now, foes and comrades, do you have anybody who is particularly problematic that you think everybody should know about?
There are a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Many problematic people.
Nobody off the top of your head that needs singling out, though?
There's just the person I referred to. I'm not going to say his name.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I think people will know who I'm talking about. He's been one of the main people trying to get Calvin Gara, quote unquote, redemption arc. Whereas, like, he can write off trans people who give him legitimate criticisms as woke scolds and just block all of us.
I kind of consider everybody who uses the term woke scold as a foe of progress. Like, it's not a helpful term. It's yeah.
It comes off as very entitled, like he's an entitled, quote unquote, trans ally who just wants trans people to kiss his ass for his amazing allyship. Completely missing the point of what allyship actually is. I made 2 videos about that, one of which was about him.
Okay.
Just like, the first one was allyship, it's not about you, and the second was allyship, it's still not about you.
Yeah. It's not supposed to center those of us who want to be helping.
Yeah, I made a post on my Tumblr, which I don't know if a lot of people who follow my channel follow that, but I do post a lot of mutual aid stuff there too. But
Okay.
I made a post that was basically hard pills to swallow. There's no such thing as alienating allies. If you're actually an ally, you know it's not about you. You know to sit down, shut up, and listen.
Yeah, and when people say, when a person complains about white people, you don't go in and be like, but I'm a good white person. No, if you do that, you're not.
I would have voted for Obama a third time if I could have.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Shit. What about comrades? Anybody that you think is doing a particularly good job these days?
I think you should check. I would recommend people check out my friends over at Social Justice Alchemy. They have a podcast every week, and they talk about issues, agrees about leftist issues in politics, in the world, and even in online spaces. They are all awesome. I
That's
occasionally
good.
join them. I'll probably join them more now that I have a camera and a semi-decent mic. Um, let's see. I would say a privileged vegan, but she doesn't really make YouTube content anymore. I would recommend that you all check out hers and Mexi's podcast, The Vegan Vanguard.
Oh yeah, good show.
Excellent. Vegan hard left content. Thought Slime is awesome. He's also a vegan anarchist lefty and non-binary, but he prefers vegan pronouns.
Okay.
There are a lot of great black lefties too. Professor Flowers is one you should check out. For Harriet.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of content For Harriet makes is about like media representation. Some of it's just about like black women and black femmes maintaining our sanity in this confusing, tough world. Yeah. So For Harriet is awesome.
Cool.
Who else? Nowadays, I'm starting a lot of comedy channels, so I'm not really sure about leftist ones.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah. No worries. So where can people find?
Yeah. There is one I recommend. Patchwork Heart. The real name Shiloh O'Connor. They have an excellent channel. They're like me. They upload very sporadically because also like me, they are disabled.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a channel wherein they make videos about mental illnesses, abuse of children, and how to avoid it, how to recognize it, how to recover from it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're also a really awesome artist. If you look up their channel, you'll find links to all their art pages. They're on Twitter. I think their Twitter name is Tachi Doodle. Definitely check that out. Of course, they have DeviantArt and all that. So definitely check out their art. Their art is the shit.
Cool.
Yeah. Those are my recommendations.
That's awesome. And where can people find your content?
You can find my content on the YouTube channel, Pheonix Rising 87. Note that there is a channel, another channel called Pheonix Rising 87, which I didn't know about until I searched my name. Its avatar is like some skinny white lady doing yoga, so you'll know it's not mine.
Right.
And just as a sidebar, the Twitter handle Pheonix Rising 87 is not me. It is a publishing company. Just putting that out there. I do not have a Twitter anymore. You can find me on Facebook through my public pages. I have one public page for myself and one for my community care and mutual aid. You can find me on Tumblr, risingphoenix87.tumblr.com. I also post a lot about mutual aid there, and I'll post about fandom stuff and also just asides about my daily life. I recently made a post about how I realized I can't headbang anymore without like putting myself in discomfort.
Oh, geez.
Which is disappointing, but okay. But it's let's see where else. You can also find me on Medium under the username FlamePanda87. I've written about why veganism isn't up for debate. Written about like one of my most read entries is about growing up as a gifted kid and like kind of like my confessions as a former gifted kid who kind of realizes all the baggage that came with that and how it's really not worth it. My most recent post, which was like a year ago, so yeah, it's been a while, is about my non-binary identity. Realizing I was non-binary, what I do differently nowadays.
Okay.
How one of the most important things was I shaved the left side of my head.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Just FYI, I do use both they and she pronouns, but I prefer they.
Okay.
You know, they definitely check me out on everything.
Perfect. I will when I edit this, I will look through, I'll find all those links and I will post them in the show notes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I guess just before we go, is there anything that you'd like to say or mention that wasn't covered in our chat?
Not really. Just peace, love, and stay hydrated.
That's all, folks. Thanks for listening. Remember to share this show with your friends and on the social media site that you use the most. Thank you to everyone who supports this show on Patreon. Every dollar I get makes it so that I can spend more time working on this show and the other shows I'm involved in to bring you high quality content. If you want to contribute, you can do that at patreon.com/skepticalleftist, or you can send me money on PayPal at paypal.me/brainstormpodcast. If you can't contribute financially, then a 5-star rating and a review on your podcast app of choice or one of the podcast review sites like Podchaser would be great. If you want to find more from me, then make sure to check out my Linktree at linktree/skepticalcory. You can find all my social media stuff there, as well as links to my other shows, which include Skeptarchy, which is a panel show that I do with some very smart people, From Many People's Strength, which is a podcast about Saskatchewan politics, and The Feminist Family, which I do with my partner. My Twitter is at Hardcore Skeptic, and my Facebook page is The Mind of a Skeptical Leftist, or you can send me a friend request at facebook.com/cjbrainstorm. I accept most friend requests. Thanks for listening, and have a good one.